Well, hello there. This is Kathy from Hands On Design. I suppose this is where I say, hello, Floss Tube. This is my first Floss Tube video. Not exactly sure what all I'm doing, but we're gonna give it a try. If all of a sudden I have to duck out, we're having a very rainy day here with thunderstorms and lightning. We're actually, I think, under a tornado watch. Kind of not a big deal here for Northwest Iowa, but so if the dog barks, I'm sorry, she doesn't like thunderstorms. But anyway, so welcome to my Floss Tube. I hope to take an opportunity every once in a while to share with you some projects that I'm working on. And I've watched a number of Floss Tube videos, and I follow a few, and it seems like everybody sort of follows some sort of pattern, talking about whips and projects and all that kind of stuff. Now, whips are a little harder for me since most everything I stitch is, well, my design. But I do want to give a shout out to the person that it was the first person I started following on Floss Tube, and that was Yvonne, the Night Owl Stitcher. And I sort of came to her, I had heard of Floss Tube, and I've actually been in somebody's Floss Tube. Janice of Noteworthy Needle did a Floss Tube at Market this year. I have met Yvonne several times. I've been fortunate enough to actually meet face to face at the Pals Retreat about 2-3 years ago, a couple times. And so she follows me on Facebook, and she's gotten used to stitching a couple of the little fun pieces that I do for the Pals Retreat and some little limited edition beachy type kits. And also she does my once a year anniversary gift to my husband in February. And I usually get a nice little message from her each time, you know, it's getting time for those to come out, and she'll say, "Oh, are you doing one?" And I love listening to her because I always talk in a Southern accent for about an hour after I listen to her. Just so sweet. And so sorry, Yvonne. And so I got a message this year, was I doing my anniversary gift to my husband? And next thing I know, I was getting all these emails, you know, a couple a day. Could they have access to the old patterns? And so finally I just said, okay, sure, no problem, but you know, where are you learning about these? And they said, Floss Tube and Yvonne, the Night Owl Stitcher. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went and checked out her video, and she was doing this really pretty dough bowl that I think I pretty much filled her month of February with all my little gifts to my husband. And it's a chart I release every year. It's complimentary, and sometimes I do a little giveaway, like you can send a self-addressed stamped envelope for buttons and whatnot. And I am out of buttons, by the way, for this year. But anyway, so I kind of have to thank Yvonne and say, you know, it was kind of her inspiration to get me kind of looking more into this and thinking, well, maybe this is something I can give a try. So here we go. Yesterday I did a blog post about what's been going on in my house. I have 2 boys, and 22 and 23, and my 23-year-old has come to work for me this summer, so yay, that's been a lot of fun. He's just kind of coming a couple days a week, but let me tell you, I'm going to miss him when he goes back to his regular job in August. He's been a lot of help. And my youngest son, Christopher, is graduating from college next week, and so, you know, it's a big time, and it's very exciting, and I'm really excited for him. So I also did introduce a fun new kit that I'm doing as a club kit through Elegant Stitch, and I thought this would be the perfect way to start my Floss Tube career in talking about this, because, you know, so many times I put a chart out and there's a project and you get the instructions and you get the, you know, what it's supposed to look like. But in my design, there's always a story. And the story behind this particular project, let me tell you, this project, And I got Lois's permission to talk about this. This project has been a little over 2 years in the making. Lois approached me March of 2015, right after Nashville Market, and said, would you like to do, has anybody ever asked you to do a club kit? No, I mean, this is actually right after I had premiered A Year in Chalk. And, you know, that was kind of a turning point for me in my design style, and really learning what it is I like to do as far as design goes. And so I was really intrigued by the process. Little did we know that it would take 2 years to get this off the ground. And let me tell you, in that time period, she and I have both undergone so many changes. You know, she's had, you know, the development of a new business, the Lady Dot Creates, you know, the hand-dyed trims and the waxers and all kinds of just really incredible products. And then for me, it's just been an evolution of, well, my husband always likes to say it's all a process, and as much as it drives me insane when he says that, it is true. And I look at my life as a designer, my life as a business owner, it's a process, and you know, you learn as you go, and you constantly have to be updating and changing and trying new things like Floss tube. So I had a conversation with Lois the other day. I said, you know what, neither one of us is really the same people that we were 2 years ago when we started this. I mean, I just think we've gone, she's had a design or a business grow. She's had a business move. She's had lots of things on the personal side of life. You know, if you follow her at all on Instagram or excuse me, Facebook, you know, she's very into fostering dogs on the personal side of life as well, as have I. I don't foster dogs, but, you know, just big changes on the personal and professional side. So it's been neat to see this design come together, and it's gone through several big changes, but let me tell you, the one thing that has remained the same, and this is kind of the cool part of it, the first thing I did after we said let's do this project together was write the verse. And the verse is, needle and thread, may they never part. It's the key to unlock my stitcher's heart. And even though shapes have changed, colors have changed, personal lives have changed, the verse never changed. And I think that's what kind of makes it special. I guess maybe I won't drag out the story a whole lot longer, but I will go ahead and show you the kit. As I said, this is a club kit. You can get it from Lois, and the kit includes everything with a few exceptions, a few small things you do need to purchase. But most importantly is this very neat hexagonal shaped box. And that was one of the big things that changed. We survived 2 box companies going out of business and ended up with the hexagonal shape. And like I said, the design itself, very similar to what it started off as, but it became so much better than what it started. And I think in a way that's kind of why it needed the 2 years to come to the point where it's something that it gives me that pit of my stomach, this is going to be so cool feeling. So this is your end project. The kit includes everything, except you'll need to buy some red paint, and we've given you the names for that, just some craft paint, and then maybe a little bit of stain or like a paste wax, and you may already have that, and then also a clear coat sealer, and then some Mod Podge. And I'll show you why you need the Mod Podge, because on the inside of your hexagonal shaped box, the colors just blended really cool. You get this really pretty neutral cotton fabric, and all the mat boards and batting and everything that you need to do this come with it. You're also going to get printed, let me see if I can get this right, the lining of the box. It says Needlecraft on this side, and April 1920 on that side. And this part, the lining part, actually came about not that long ago. I was gifted some vintage Needlecraft magazines, the kind with oh, we actually sat around at Stitchin' one night reading all the advertisements of ladies with their hair done and pearls and, you know, beautiful shirtwaist dresses doing housework, you know, and yeah, of course none of us do that now. Anyway, so I fell in love with the graphics on the cover. So I took them and kind of played with the colors a little bit, just sort of amplified the colors a little bit. And you're actually getting these prints in your kit as well. And those get Mod Podged and sealed on the inside of your box. And as a combination, the colors it's probably a little dark in here because of the rain today, but the colors are they're really cool. And I think they work really well together. So this will hold your accessories. Like I said, fun box. Honestly, the color has gone through so many changes. I really wanted to do red, but I was afraid red and green would look very Christmassy, but it's not a Christmas red and it's not a Christmas green. So I think it makes it look vintage, and it's a lovely box. So this is, you know, your main piece. And again, you get the box, you get the linen, you get the floss. It's Weeks Dye Works and classic colors. Her hand-dyed palms, which you'll see used throughout, and then the chart to make this lovely, I love the motifs in here, and you'll see how they kind of all work together through the whole kit. So that's the box. And then inside your box, you're gonna have, of course, that holds your accessories. Lois also makes, well, after I wrote the verse, she said, oh, I've got this great waxer. And so she made this key. And of course I put a twisted cord on it, and you get the floss to make all the cording, and I put a little tassel on it because we've got tassels on the box, and keys on the box. So this is the key to unlock my Stitcher's heart. And then you have to have a great place to keep your wax keep key, and so you're getting all the supplies to make this cute little bag. Again, stitched here, and then very simple finishing instructions, and then you close it with a little cord in a little casing. Complete finishing instructions in there, and everything on this, everything is included. Your fabric, your extra DMC for the cording, and then again your little palms. So a lot of fun there. And then, of course, in trying to decide what kind of tools, you know, I think I had just done a lot of needle books, so I said, oh, let's do a fob, because quite frankly, I have a lot of scissors. I'm pretty sure a lot of you do too, and so you can always use an extra fob. Well, let me tell you, this is another one of those behind the scenes stories. I'll show you real quick. It's got this, you know, a lot of the motifs, and you know, designed in different ways, so everything goes. And then on the back it says my Stitcher's heart, and then I've got my initials and the year here. This, you'll go, oh wow, she's got 2017 on there, but she said it was project 2 years in the making. Well, the original actually had 2016, and I was trying to get this whole project finished. Let me tell you, over the 2 years, there's been times when, okay, I'm in Iowa, Lois is in California, and it sat in California for a couple months at a time. Then it came back to Iowa, and it sat in Iowa a couple months at a time. And literally, you know, with our busy lives and with everything going on, it just, I don't know, sometimes it seemed like it would never happen. So I knew we were really, really edging in on this happening. And she said she was having a finishing weekend at her shop. And I said, you know, I am going to surprise her and send the finished product, and then she can show everybody at her finishing weekend. So part of the thing that would take me a long time as I was finishing was I write very explicit finishing instructions, and I take pictures. I do a lot of pictures, and I take more pictures than I need because you edit out most of them. So it's finish something, picture, finish, picture, finish, picture. Well, honestly, with this one, I was not really happy how the finishing was coming out. But I thought, ugh, you know, sometimes you have those moments and you're like, I just want to get it done, and I want to get it in the mail, and I want to send it to her and get it back to California. And well, I ironed it. Hot iron, polyester trim. doesn't work so well. And, you know, I'm a finisher at heart. So you think, Kathy, that was kind of a dumb thing to do. So not only did I melt this onto my iron, I moved the iron, and just to add insult to injury, I had green all over my linen. I mean, if you heard a seismic shift about a month ago in the Midwest or felt it, it was probably me, because I was so irritated. And so I took the weekend, deep breath, and fortunately I had enough linen and enough threads on hand. I restitched it, and I thought, well, okay, you know, I wasn't real happy with my finishing, so it gave me the opportunity to improve on the finishing a little bit, plus change the 2016 to 2017, and there's a funny story about that later too. So anyway, it's a fun little scissor fob because you got lots of scissors. So the last object, now so far these all fit into the box, and so does this. I happen to love this style of pin cushion. If you know my designs at all, you know I do lots of pin cushions, and I love. Sometimes with these, sometimes when I design and I know what the shape is going to be, it's fun because I know what the outline has to be on something like this. And so it's fun to go and almost like coloring, you know, everybody's into coloring these days, but it's like coloring inside the backstitch outline and making the design work in a dimensional piece. And I knew I wanted something that looked like a tomato, and I knew I wanted the little strawberry on it. So the design needed to be very simple, and I just love the way this came out. And you get all of this in your kit. You will need to add some little stuffing, doesn't take much, but you're getting the little wool felt ball, the little green leaves, the little tomato cap, and then the little bit to roll up, and even the little pins to tack the whole thing into place. And I'm sorry, you know, to me, it's just kind of scrumptious. I just think it's really cool looking. So anyway, so that's all the pieces. Now, a little more behind the scenes and part to understand why the whole 2 years. Lois did all the model stitching, well, with the exception of the one I had to restitch. And I believe I mentioned that she fosters doggies. And she had all the stitching sitting there in her house. And one of the doggies did not know its boundaries very well and made off with her completed stitching. And she had to restitch this one. And let me tell you, of all of these to restitch, this is not the one I'd want to have to restitch. So, but still, she restitched it. She was a trooper. The doggie ate her homework. For real. And, but I think it came out really cute. So one of the other stories in the whole process was because I packed everything up, and like I said, I knew she was having this finishing weekend, and I wanted to surprise her. So I stuck it all in a box, and I didn't even put, like, you know, a note in or anything other than a piece of paper, and it said, "Tag, you're it," because I knew we had finally gotten to a point where this thing could maybe potentially happen. And she was, you know, she called me, and of course, "Oh my gosh, it's great, it arrived, da, da, da," whatever. So we were talking, and she said, "You stitched all the palms on with the banding attached." I said, "Yeah." You know, and I had told her what I had done about melting it and restitching it, you know. And she said, "Well, you know, you can remove that little banding. So if you ever look at pom-pom and there's that little banding trim, I guess you can take that off." I didn't know. She said, "You know, you could have done it a whole lot easier if you had taken the banding off." And I was like, totally silent, like, "What?" Yeah, that would have been a whole lot easier. So in the finishing instructions, I have given you instructions for finishing it the way I finished. and also instructions for if you take the banding off, the little pom-pom, and then you just simply whip stitch the pom-pom into place. Seriously, do that. I can't believe I learned something new. There you go. That's all I can say. So I will say now, the kits are very, very limited. So Lois is ready to start shipping on Monday. The kits are all packed. She's got them all assembled and put together. She was waiting for some special shipping boxes. So this is, you know, all the information that you want to know. Contact the shop. I am not handling the shipping and the sales and all that part of it. So you'll want to contact Lois for My Stitcher's Heart. And as I said, the kit includes, let me tell you what all is in this kit. Paper mache box, the linen, that's linen for 5 pieces of linen. The lining fabric, the featherweight interfacing, the matte and comic board, warm and natural batting, DMC, Weeks Dye Works, classic colors, the red felt ball and the red pins, the green leaves, the palm trim, my chart and my finishing instructions, and oh, and the wax key, and the box band on the inside. So so for $85, you're getting enough for all 4 projects. It is going to be $10 shipping and handling. It comes in a box, priority mail box. She has a very limited number of these. So if you are the least bit interested, please contact her at the shop. Her number, and I know I can add on edits afterwards. I'll try and figure out how to do that. But her number at Elegant Stitch is 209-529-6393. You can also email her probably through her website, elegantstitch.com. She, like I said, is starting to ship these on Monday, May 22nd. So you can get going. So you can get going with your Stitcher's Heart box. It's a lovely little key. And it's been such a fun project to work on. I will say I've got a couple club projects coming out. I will talk about them. This is the first one, so I'm not going to talk about those just yet. I want to give each one their due. And it's fun to design like this. I really, you know, obviously I've got my other series going on. We've got 12 days. We've got Block Party is still going. Oh, well, here's whip time. I'm going to show you real quick. This is a sneak peek, and I'm going to hold it up really quickly. At last market, I started the Chalk for the Home series that I do with Priscilla Blaine, chalk artist. We did the magazine design last year and just cross-stitch Seasons in Chalk Art. And we're continuing what we call it Chalk for the Home. So there'll be 4 in all, and each like a seasonal home, and they have a larger piece and they have a smaller seasonal piece. With everything going on, I really kind of thought I was going to have to delay this until July, but I know that you really want to stitch summer now so you can enjoy it. These are not, you know, big long stitches. But so I am stitching around the clock as fast as I can. I'm loving this design. The charting came together. You know, I interpret Priscilla's picture. I literally get a photo of a chalk drawing that she does, and I go from there. So it's it's a job, and sometimes these go together a little better than others. This one came together really well, and I was very pleased with it. So, okay, you ready? I'm just going to hold it up for a few seconds because this is all I have done so far. There you go. That's your sneak peek of my current whip. And yes, I do use model stitchers, but for some reason I have really found with these chalk pieces, it's such a different way to design for me that I'm getting more confident in how I interpret her artwork, but I want to do justice to her artwork. So sometimes I tend to make more changes as I stitch on these pieces than anything else. And it's fun because she she model stitches as well, although she does like to use a different kind of linen. She's not a linen, she's more of an even weave gal, and I use the linen, and so it's fun to see hers come out. And we email photos back and forth, and she's a really good sport when I say, oh, you just got that section stitched. I made a change. So anyway, so that should be, actually I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that it's called the Cottage Rose Home. I haven't decided on Cottage Rose Home or Cottage Rose House, because the last one, it's chalk for the home, but the last one was called Tulip House. Sometimes, you know, you gotta change the name up a little bit. So I'm hoping that that gets out with the next 12 days in June. I am stitching around the clock. So that's kind of where I am at with my whip. So this has been fun. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me this long. I hope that, you know, if you're at least intrigued about the My Stitcher's Heart Club, you call Lois and you get signed up. Like I said, there is a limited number of kits. And so I know that I put it out there a little bit on Facebook yesterday, and I know there was a lot of interest so far. So if you're remotely interested, give her a buzz. Anyway, I thank you very much. Until next time, enjoy the stitch. Bye.